There's a peace I've come to know, though my heart and flesh may fail, there's an anchor for my soul. I can say,
well, good morning, friends. Welcome to Friday, another day for us to gather for our daily meditation. I hope that these are helpful to you, and glad you're back. If you think about it, either on YouTube or on Facebook, appreciate it if you'd say hello in the comments, just to greet other people who are joining us in this journey together as we try to focus our lives on God in some way, and also just to spend some time in prayer with each other. Fridays were traditionally fast days in Christianity. We know that as during Lent, in particular, Fridays are a season of fasting, but actually a longer tradition is really that every Friday was a day of fasting. Fasting is a spiritual discipline in which you typically refrain from food, sometimes from other things in your life for a period of time. The idea is the absence of those things which we take for granted each day then creates a yearning or opens up time, or opens up, our soul in a different way to receive in those moments, the presence of God. So that the act of fasting is, by depriving ourselves of something, we create space, and also it just sort of shifts what we're doing. I have a regular discipline of fasting in my life, and so that's a way for me to do that. And often it's a way of sort of bringing focus into whatever it is that I'm working on in my prayer life or spiritual life. And I think especially for those of us that live in places where food is aplenty, or things are aplenty, or the material world is aplenty, even if, certainly if we're struggling economically or something like that, we still have just tremendous resources around us. One of the texts in Scripture that relates to this is the Shema, which is in the Hebrew Scriptures. And Jesus interprets it with a slight twist on the end. And you know this text. It is, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." What does it mean for us to love God with all our heart, or our soul, or our strength, or our mind? It's interesting in that in the Scripture, it divides certain sort of ways, or our bodies, divides our bodies into different sort of elements. Heart, obviously, is our emotion, our love, our care. Our soul is the very inner being that is what God creates in us. Our strength is our physical nature, and our mind, of course, is the way we think. And that the Scripture sort of calls us to align all of those things into the presence of God in some way, to bring God's presence into that. And not only that, but that we should be loving God with all of those parts of our being. So I think this is worth taking some time to think about. And maybe fasting is a way to get into that, or maybe it's a way to think about as you prepare for the weekend. How will you love God with all your heart, your soul, your strength, and your mind? What does that mean? But also, the call there is not just to stay interior with our love of God, but then there's this other thing about loving our neighbor as ourself. And so to be thinking about that. When I fast, when I go into my prayer life, when I am dealing with this is often a scripture that I lean on a regular basis. And I ask myself the question, how is my heart aligned? How is my soul aligned? How is my strength aligned? And how is my mind aligned? Am I loving God with all of those beings and the actions that I take in my life and what I do, how I behave, how I interact with others? And I think this becomes a cornerstone of who we are and what our being is. I hope you have a great weekend. God bless. If you are coming to St. Thomas, we hope to see you at worship. And we'll look forward to joining you again next week on Monday as we continue this journey together. God bless and have a great day.
There's a peace I've come to know, though my heart and flesh may fail. There's an anchor for my soul. I can say it is well. Jesus has overcome, and the grave is overwhelmed. The victory is won. He is risen from the dead, and I will rise when he calls my name. No more sorrow, no more pain. I will rise on eagle's wings before my God, fall on my knees and rise. I will rise. There's a day that's drawing near, when this darkness breaks to light, and the shadows disappear, and my faith shall be my eyes. Jesus has overcome, and the grave is overwhelmed. The victory is won. He is risen from the dead, and I will rise when he calls my name. No more sorrow, no more pain. I will rise on eagle's wings before my God, fall on my knees and rise. I will rise. And I hear the voice of many angels sing, worthy is the Lamb. And I hear the cry of every longing heart, worthy is the Lamb. And I hear the voice of many angels sing, worthy is the Lamb. And I hear the cry of every longing heart, worthy is the Lamb, worthy is the Lamb. I will rise when he calls my name.